What you guys are going to do, I've kind of explained it during the lecture. 3 exercises. The first one is to do a base and a derived class. And so I am not giving you anything to download this time because this is pretty self-explanatory. You guys have had similar examples. I'm giving you a link to W3 Schools, and you guys are going to be putting each of the exercises into a section of the accordion panel. Okay, so you'll do the object one here. You'll do the includes here. And then the 2 string functions and 2 date functions will go down here. Okay, so then if you come up here and look at the code, this is kind of all the code you need, right? Here is the lorem ipsum text. So this is where your PHP stuff is going to go. Okay, so every place where you see lorem ipsum, that's where you're going to stick the PHP. Okay, and then as far as what you're going to call it, you see where it says collapsible group item 2. You'll change this and you'll call it something like PHP includes. And then up here on the first one, collapsible group item 1. This will be a base and a derived class. Okay, so then you'll get those headings, and you'll change this last one to be something like, you know, string and date functions. Okay, does that make sense? So what I would do if I was you guys is I would go up here where the code is, do a Control A, because that'll highlight all of it. Control C will copy, go into VS Code, do a Control V to paste. Okay, and then you're just going to modify what these are called, and your PHP code will go into these sections. And I gave you a huge hint for the first exercise, right? I said it was almost identical to this exercise in the notes, this one. Okay, in fact, from where the PHP starts to where it ends, this is something that you guys could copy and modify. Okay, yours has a slightly different requirements. You have to have a base and you have to have a derived class. Okay, you need to have a constructor and some type of print function. Okay, and then I made a little side note that in the example, I called my print function info. I didn't call it print. Okay, what you're going to have to do that is a little different is instead of just displaying things to the screen, I want you to display them in a Bootstrap table. So I'm actually giving you a little hint here. So if you call it info or whatever you call your print function, you'll return a row. That's what this is doing. Okay, so basically it's going to return a row. You can see I've got a column here with the name. I've got a column here with the type, and I got a column here with the city. That's the end of my row. Okay, so here in the main part of the program, I create a pet object. Okay, then I print out my opening table. I'm giving it a class equal to table, table hover. That's all bootstrappy stuff. This is my first row with my headings. okay? And then this is where I am getting the row for best, which I previously would have created. Here's one for Michael's. Here's one for the pet info one, which you saw here. So this is how I'm getting the 3 rows below the headings. Okay, and then once I'm done, I close off the table. So how that looks is just like this. For the derived class, you're basically going to do the same thing. Okay, you're going to derive the class, create your 3 objects, at least 3. Then, once you have those 3 objects created, you're going to print out your table headings. Derived class is going to have more headings, okay? Because you have the base stuff plus the new stuff. And then it's just a matter of calling that method that prints out the rows. So it's just going to be 1 row at a time. Okay, and when you are doing this, I do want 2 of your class properties converted to uppercase. So you can do that when you're printing, or you can do it ahead of time. I chose to do it in the constructor. Okay, so you can see that this is kind of a partial thing of my constructor where I took the type and the city, converted them to uppercase. So here is my second example. This is my derived class. So you can see the headings got printed out. And then these are the 3 objects that I created that got printed out. Does that make sense? So all of this code ends up going in that first lorem ipsum chunk. Yes, so it would all go right in there. So that's going to be lengthy. Okay, this will be the longest thing that you do. Then for exercise 2, you're going to create a new page and call it footer.php. And you should include copyright information similar to the example in the lecture. Okay, but instead of my name, you guys are probably going to want your own name in there. If your name was Lisa, then that would be fine, but I highly doubt your name is Lisa Ballback. Okay, so this is all I have in the footer file. This is what I highlighted is footer.php. Does not have to be longer than that. Okay, that'll be your first file, and then you're going to create another one called address.php. Yep. So I do have an example of an address in here. I did not include the example down in the include section, but you guys can see this code could be used for an address, right? I mean, it's got the opening, it's got the closing, everything you need. You guys are going to put your own name in there. You don't have to give me your real address. The example I have, I think I used the college address. So if you want to use the college address, that's fine. Or you can make one up. I don't care. But you're going to create an address. And then you are going to pull in both includes. So you're going to have 2 PHP lines, one for the address, one for the footer. Okay, and where you're going to put those is right here. So you'll just do those 2 lines of PHP, and that will pull those in. So even though the first exercise is kind of long, this one is super short. Okay, I don't think that it's going to take you very long. That's what mine looked like. Okay, so this is the college address, and if you guys want to use that, that's fine. The last part of this, you're going to pick toString and 2 date functions that you want to use. So what I decided to do with mine is take a song, and I took one from Cats, and I use str_toke to break the lines apart, just like I showed you in the lecture. That's pretty much identical code that I used here. You can see I converted the title to uppercase. So the 2 functions I chose to use were str_to_upper and str_toke. Okay, so I included those down here. And then the date functions that I used are down here, date create and date format. Okay, so to date, to string, and then just tell me which ones you used. Okay, you guys have any questions? And if you guys want to change up colors or anything in your Bootstrap interface, go ahead. I think I used info for the color, BG info, because you can see that I have a kind of a darker blue, because I did not like this gray. So if you guys want to change the colors, you can. If you like the gray, fine, keep it. You don't have to change it. So you guys are going to have the rest of today to work on this. And then you'll also have the full period on Wednesday. Okay, and obviously if you run into problems, grab me and I will help you. You guys have any questions? Okay.